Now, many people are probably already farming this achievement, or at least thinking about getting it done during Wrath of the Lich King. It is no easy feat, and it does take a long time, and the achievement is Insane in the Membrane. It gives you the title, The Insane, and it can be a very, very costly and time-consuming achievement to complete. Now, I've stumbled upon, thanks to Airness, a historic guide back from 2008, which was updated all the way to 2010. I can claim no credit for this, I'm just sharing it with you guys, and I'll put a link to it in the description below. Let's break it down. Now, introduction-wise, before we get started, I'll give you a little background of what exactly the achievement is all about. The Insane in the Membrane is a feat of strength which was implemented on live servers in World of Warcraft patch 3.2. This feat of strength rewards no achievement points but does give the title The Insane, i.e. the creator of this guide, Zenworks, The Insane. It involves obtaining Exalted with several factions and Honoured with one faction. Depending on your playtime, class and current reputation standing, this achievement can take anywhere from a month to a year. To do it in a month, you've really got to be going some, or already done a lot of preparation for it. He does go on to talk about his own personal experience with doing it, and it took him about 3 months from start to finish, and that's as a holy priest. So what are the requirements for Insane in the Membrane? You need Honoured with Bloodsail Buccaneers, you need Exalted with Booty Bay, Exalted with Ratchet, Everlook, Gadget Zan, Dark Moon Fair, Chendralar and Ravenholt. And do note, Booty Bay, Everlook, Ratchet and Gadget Zan are in essence one reputation faction, Steamweedle Cartel. Since when you gain rep with one, you gain rep with the others. There are differences and we'll get into those when we actually deal with a Bloodsail and Steamweedle reputation farming. So a quick overview of the factions. With Bloodsail Buccaneers, the quickest and easiest way to gain reputation with Bloodsail Buccaneers is killing Booty Bay guards until you reach Honoured. Keep in mind, anytime you increase your reputation with Bloodsail, your rep will decrease with all 4 Steamweedle Cartel factions. The Bloodsail and Steamweedle are mortal enemies, so the time consumption for this is around 5%. When it comes to Steamweedle, there's 2 ways to increase Steamweedle Cartel reputation without decreasing Bloodsail reputation. Diamall key runs for Free Knot and the Gordok Ogre suit, and the quest near Feathermoon, Zapped Giants. The quickest way that's used in this guide is DM key runs. You'll be running Diamall North, killing guards, obtaining a key, and freeing a goblin named Knot. You will also be turning in Ogre Tannin along with other mats for the Gordok Ogre suit. The time consumption for this is around 40% of the overall achievement. When it comes to Darkmoon Faire, the only way to gain reputation with a Darkmoon Faire faction is to turn in level 60 plus decks at 350 reputation each, and the class decks for 25 reputation. We'll also be turning in some Thorium widgets until they no longer give reputation. Time consumption for this is around 10%. The only way to gain reputation with a Chendralar is to turn in Libram of Rapidity, Libram of Protection and Libram of Focus, and your class book, but only once. Librams are unique but not soulbound. Each Libram requires 1 pristine black diamond, 2 to 4 large brilliant shards, and an item specific to that Libram. We'll also be doing 1 quest at the beginning to save us a book turn-in, along with the prerequisite quest for turning in Librams. Time consumption for the Chendralar is about 25%. For Ravenholt from neutral to revered, you'll be killing syndicate mobs in Arathi Highlands. The only way to gain reputation with Ravenholt faction after revered is turn in heavy junk boxes, 5 of these at a time for 75 reputation per turn-in. And the only way to obtain heavy junk boxes is to pickpocket them from specific mobs in the game. A rogue is required for this part. The junk boxes are not bindable, so they can be traded or mauled, and the time consumption for this is 20%. So you can just shout out in trade and be able to buy as many junk boxes as you want, as long as people are farming them. So the conflicting info for Bloodsail and Steamweedle. Various readers have been emailing me saying that it's not a requirement to have both Steamweedle Cartel and Bloodsail Buccaneers at required reputations at the same time. Some people have earned the achievement while hated with a Steamweedle Cartel, as long as at one time they were exalted. Other players have claimed the opposite, saying that they were not able to do the achievement unless they had all the required faction reputations at the same time. Blue posts, in-game screenshots all seem to conflict. So for a blue post, my understanding of this is it was never required that you have these criteria met all at the same time. Once you reach the required reputation level with one of the factions, the criteria should be credited. While another one said, well, you shouldn't lose the criteria if you gain the reputation to obtain it. A reader sent in an email here showing a GM confirming that you have to have all reps at the same time. If you want to be on the safe side, I would grind out Bloodsail, then do Steamweedle as explained in this guide. If you want to be risky and try it the other way, contact me and let me know how it turns out. I'd recommend doing it the slightly longer way, just in case. So what we'll cover now is the game plan, and then the rest of this you can read through, because there is a lot to go over for each individual faction. And as I say, the link will be in the description below. We know what's involved for obtaining the title and how to go about getting it. This is going to be a rather lengthy section. Read it a few times and make sure you understand how this works. You'll save yourself a lot of time. This is very vague on purpose. Each faction has its own section below. All the information you need will be explained there. If you do not have the key to Scholomance, then that should be the first item on your list. After you have the Scolo key, you need to get honoured with Bloodsail Buccaneers simply by killing Booty Bay guards until you reached honoured. By the time you're done, you'll be 0 of 36,000 hated with all Steamweedle cartel factions. At this point, I suggest you check the auction house at least twice a day for the following: Libram of Protection, Rapidity, Focus, Pristine Black Diamond, and cheap Darkmoon Fair decks. After you finish Bloodsail, you'll go do the prerequisite for the Chandrila. If you do not have the Crescent key to DM North by the way, now's a good time to obtain it by going to DM East. As you're in DM, you'll have to kill all kinds of mobs, guards, etc. Make sure you loot all bodies. If you come across a Protection, Rapidity, Libram of Focus, you need to save it. Librams are unique, so you have to mail it to an alt. If you don't have a Moley, you won't have that till Wrath. The nearest mailbox for Alliance is Feathermoon Stronghold. For Horde, the nearest is Camp Mojash. In the days, weeks, months you'll be spending farming DM for Steamweedle reputation, you should still be checking the auction house daily. Once you obtain Exalted with all 4 of the Steamweedle cartel factions, it's time to begin working on Ravenholt. Grind your way to Revered by killing Syndicate mobs in Arathi Highland. Once you've hit Revered, pickpocket the heavy junk boxes in Tyre's Hand in Eastern Plaguelands, or if you've seen my members only video because you're a member of YouTube, there's other places. Be sure to keep checking the auction house. Once you have the required amount of heavy junk boxes, turn them in at Ravenholt. After you're Exalted with Ravenholt, it's time to move on to Chandrila. If you do not have the required amount of Librams to obtain Exalted, then either farm them manually in DM or just watch the auction house. Once you have the required amount of Librams, go farm the mats and turn them in. Once you hit Exalted with Chandrila, move on to the last faction, Darkmoon Fair. Do the Darkmoon Fair pre-quests for some free rep. If you don't have the required amount of decks to hit Exalted, then make sure you're watching on the auction house. Keep in mind the Darkmoon Fair only comes in once a month. If all went well, you've obtained a title. Congratulations. And like I say, there's a lot more information for every single section of this. But I just wanted to give you the overview of this, share the link with you so you can get yourself ready to do the insane title. And hopefully you find it useful if you haven't already seen this, because it is old. I'd not seen it before until someone shared it with me. So hopefully you found it useful. Be sure to like and subscribe. Because it really does help more than you know. It extends the reach of this video, which helps the channel grow. So thank you in advance for clicking like and subscribe. Roll the outro. There's lots of ways you can support the channel to keep me here putting out World of Warcraft content and covering all future MMOs. Consider joining the channel as a member. You get access to emotes, everyone will know you're a member when you comment on future videos because you get a nice icon next to your name, and you get access to members-only videos, which I'll be putting a lot of on the channel throughout the year. Additionally, there's a Patreon link in the description as well. Thank you for watching all the way to the end, and I'll see you on the next one.